Hey there, how's it going? You know, I have all of these ideas on little tips and tricks on how I plan to catch more and bigger fish. And quite frankly, some of these things are how I caught 12 personal bests in 2022. So I thought what I'd do is start this little segment called 5-Minute Fridays. And in 5 minutes, I'll give you some tips that hopefully will help you catch more and bigger fish. And I've got like 40 or 45 of these already like ideas. So hopefully we can run through 2023 and see how this works. First off, my name's Aaron, and if you follow the channel, you know that I pretty much fish finesse techniques year round. As a bait finesse fisherman, I mean, that's just what we do, right? January can be tough, especially for bass with the cold water and often less active fish. But this is where finesse presentations and finesse lures should shine. So as bait finesse fishermen, theoretically, we should be able to catch fish in January when other people don't. So today I want to share the 3 baits that I plan on using in January to catch some bass. So the first up is the Ned Rig. The Ned Rig is just a small stick bait lure. Z-Man probably is the most popular version of it. It imitates a lot of things. It's typically a little worm or minnow or even a crawfish imitation. But the key to the Ned Rig, even in warm temperatures, is this slow, methodical presentation. Now, I personally tend to jig it, and so I'll let it go up and float down, let it go up and float down. I'll fish the Nico Helgramite like this, but in the wintertime, I think you really just want to stick with the stick bait. There's been a lot of studies shown that, the less appendages, the more likely fish are to hit it. And when they're finicky, when they're slow and sluggish, they want pretty much an easy meal. Often, now I have caught them in the wintertime on the drop as it's falling, but often what you want to do is just sort of drag it along the bottom, right? You just want to drag this along. The change up that I'm doing this year is I've got the micro Ned. Look at the difference in these. Look at the difference in those. These are much, much smaller. The micro Ned, especially as the temperatures drop into the 30s, I think this is going to help you catch the really finicky fish. I think it'll help you catch more fish. Some of the smaller fish that may not hit this just because it's too much meal when the temps are that cold. You might be able to pull this too. And I also think a lot of crappie and panfish are going to hit this as well. Weight difference wise, this standard Ned that I'm running, and I think this is probably a 1/10 ounce jig head, is a little over 6 grams, where the micro Ned is 2.5 grams. The micro TRDs they're just an amazingly small bait. So that's number 1. Hey, future Aaron, put a 5-minute timer there at the beginning and we'll see how we're doing on this. So the next bait that I'm going to use in January is the blade bait. And these are old school. In fact, I had somebody comment on a video about one of the, I think it was a Hedden Supersonic 431 or something like that. These blade baits have been around forever. But the one that I'm using this year primarily is the Damiki Vault. What I really like about the Damiki Vault is it has, they make it in a 1/4 ounce version, and this is the 1/4 ounce version. Basically you just do these as a vertical jigging. They mimic dying shad really well. Whether the small size or not is going to be the ticket, I don't know. But I got a few different colors of this. So blade bait is number 2. These will also potentially work not just in lakes, but in rivers, like near the tailwaters of dams and stuff like that, where maybe walleye and sauger and stuff like that are congregating. So it's not just a lake and a bass lure. And then the last one that, it's just very common is the jerk bait. And a suspending jerk bait is really what I'm trying to use in the wintertime especially. The jerk bait is designed to sort of imitate the movements of another dying bait fish, right? So that's sort of one of the threads that we're looking for in January in the wintertime when the water is really cold is bass are just looking for an easy meal. They don't want to work that hard. So whether it's the Ned, whether it's the blade bait that flutters like a dying shad, or whether it's the jerk bait that acts like a dying minnow, and so it'll jerk and then pause, jerk and then pause. That's what you're looking at. And the 2 that I'll personally be using, sharp hooks, is the Duo Realis Rosante, which this is the 63 suspending, and then the Euratackle Z Spender. And the cool thing about really both of these, but definitely the Z Spender, is this also works great for trout. And so you have a bait that has multiple uses in your tackle box, and it's not just a wintertime bait. Jerk baits are going to be great through the spring anyway. Ned Rig catches fish year round. Blade baits, I think that's really, for my book, probably mostly a fall or wintertime thing. definitely if you're into walleye and sauger, you get a little bit more use out of it in the fall. So there you have it. Those are the top 3 lures that I'll be throwing in January. The Ned Rig, the blade bait, and the suspending jerk bait. Give those a try the next time you're out in these colder months and maybe see if you can't catch just a few more fish. And who knows, maybe you'll get that giant of the lake or the pond that you're fishing, you know, that one fish that throwing something just a little bit smaller says, you know what, I just can't resist that. And maybe you get a personal best in January this year. Thanks for watching. Happy fishing.